Hey, Harout, how are you doing? Welcome to 30-Minute Coaching with me, Steve Sims. What is your name? What do you do? And what is your problem?
So my name is Harout Markarian. I am an aerospace engineer. Now I'm transitioning to my robotic startup. So a couple of years ago, I founded a robotic startup to provide people with disabilities with an alternative way of becoming more independent. And that's what I'm working on right now, the transition from the corporate world to my startup. And the problem that I'm currently having is reaching out and connecting with investors. Now, the reaching out part, it can happen in many ways, but actually having that meaningful conversation with the investor has not happened. And that would be my problem. That I'm wondering, is it something that I'm doing wrong? Is it in my messaging? Is it my, entourage, So that's the problem.
All right. Well, 9 times out of 10, it's our fault. So, we can say that one very quickly. I'm going to assume and take a stab in the dark that if you were an aerospace engineer before and now but you're quite a smart guy. So have you actually looked through what you need the money for before you've actually gone raising it? Now, I know that sounds a funny thing to say, but a lot of people, they throw money at the problem before really analyzing what the problem is. So I take it you've taken your time to see what you need done and what you need the money for. Would that be a yes?
That is correct, yes.
Can any of those components to get you traction be partnerships rather than investments?
It can, and I've tried that route, but the people that I reached out to, they said, come back when you have some traction. And I'm like, I thought the traction was supposed to happen here. So that's why I got confused there.
So it's the classic chicken and egg. All right, yeah. Okay. So I take it you've got a deck, you've got a group of presenters, and you're going out there trying to put your money out there, trying to put your hand out there, raising capital, correct?
That is correct, yes.
How are you finding these people first?
Well, initially, I had no clue. Then Crunchbase came up, and they said they have a list of competitor companies and who invested in them. So I bought a subscription to Crunchbase, and I go research the investors there, research the companies there, see similar companies, of course, see who invested in them, and then go after those type of investors that are more likely to invest in a robotics space than any other one.
Do you have the full branding ecosystem for anyone to stalk you and look at you before having a conversation with you?
I'm going to say, I'm going to give a two-part answer to that. The first one, I don't really understand what goes into the branding, to be completely honest, right? And then if I don't know that, then I'm going to say no to the second one. So.
All right. Well, you're very lucky. The first one the answer is very little. More people spend more time producing and manipulating and massaging the wrong brand than if they did nothing, that end up with a better brand. You see, we're all sitting here at the moment with these things in our pocket that have more access to data than NASA had in the 90s. My question is, if someone hears about you, they're going to do one thing, not two, not three, they're going to do one thing. They're going to go, oh, great pitch. And then they're going to get this little thing out and they're going to type your name in and see what pops up. Now, you're responsible for getting money into your company. So again, we know full well that we've got to get money to create traction. What do people find when they Google you? Have you ever Googled yourself?
I have a couple of times.
And how are you appearing?
Well, I'm not the first option that comes up. There are apparently other Harout Markarians out there. So, but I appear like my Instagram page comes up, my Facebook page comes up, and then my short history in basketball comes up. But nothing to what I'm doing today.
Okay. So there is something called a CHOC. Have you a CHOC? You may have heard about me speak about it within Sims Media, but do you know what a CHOC is?
I do not.
central hub of conversation. Now, this is something that you control the narrative. You see, what you've just spoken about, appearing on Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, Twitter, all of that, those are other people's platforms.
Mm-hmm.
And every time you appear on someone else's platform, they offer you other people that are similar to you that you should go and follow. So in which case, you're basically creating your own competition. They go over to LinkedIn because they found you on LinkedIn, and all of a sudden, other people looked at that. Oh, maybe this is competition. You don't want that. And also, you've got to consider that if one day Twitter, LinkedIn, whatever, if they have a little hissy fit and they don't like you anymore and they turn you off, you've actually lost it because you don't have SEO. You're playing on their platform. You've got to be in control of it. The first thing I would do for you is I would actually go online and I would go onto GoDaddy or whoever you like picking up your URLs with and pick up a URL of your name. You want to be in control of the story. You want to be in control of your chalk. You want to be in control of the story, the narrative that you're going to give people to Google you. Now, if you can't find your full name.com, maybe you can find Markarian or your middle initials or whatever. Come up, like for argument's sake, I'm Steve D Sims everywhere because there was some other Steve Sims, so I stuck my middle initial in there and I'm Steve D Sims everywhere on the planet. I want to control what people find when they look for you. Right. So grab your URL, waste $9.99 and buy your own real estate and build that out with some basics on you. Your hobbies, your interests, what I'm working on, little overview on what I want someone, because it's going to happen. You're going to be in a meeting. You're going to end that meeting. I guarantee you before they've got to the coffee stand, the elevator or their office, they're going to pull out their phone and they're going to Google you. And you need to make sure that the first thing they read, you're in control of.
Got it. Understood.
The downside is, let me give you an example. Let me play with you. I walk into a bar, okay? It's been known to happen. And I walk up to you and I go, hey, Harout, my name's Steve Sims. I've worked with Elon Musk, Elton John and the Pope. I'm a big deal. And I go to shake your hand. How do you feel if I introduce myself that way to you? Truthfully.
Maybe a bit egotistical.
Would it be fair to say that you're repulsed by that intro?
Absolutely.
All right. Now let's play another game. You're in the bar with your best mate, with a partner, someone you trust. I walk into the bar. I ignore you. Why wouldn't I? I don't know you. I go to the end of the bar. I order my old fashioned and your mate elbows you and goes, hey, see that guy down there? He's worked with Elton John, Elon Musk and the Pope. That guy's a big deal. Now, what do you want to do?
I want to introduce myself to you.
Bingo. But was the information exactly verbatim the same?
Yes.
It was the point of introduction. It was the point of consumption. You trust your best mate. You don't trust me. You don't know me. But True. You trust what he says. What I was saying to you, that was marketing. That was chest puffing. Hey, I've got a big knob. I'm brilliant. But what your mate said to you was gospel and truth. That's what branding's all about. Branding is what other people say about you. Now, in today's world, who do you listen to when you don't know that person? And it starts with the Lord Google. You know, you go and trust Google as to what you can find out about the person. You've got to think about that Google source is depicting you, but is it telling the truth?
Well,
that's the key.
Yeah.
And what you're doing is you're doing a turkey shoot. So these are the two things that I would do. I know the conversations you have to have. 9 times out of 10, I'm guessing the conversations are good. And then they do a little bit of looking up just to validate what you've said and they can't find that backup. Okay?
True, yeah.
There you go. So you've got to be in control of yourself and how you appear digitally. It's one of the first things we do. We have something we call a digital fingerprint. But I'm going to tell you what you need to do. You need to jump on Google, not Google, GoDaddy, and you need to buyyourname.com. You need to buy variations of yourname.com, okay? Shove a middle initial in there. Like I'm Sims. There's only one M in Sims. I don't know how anyone can bloody misspell it, but there are some morons in the planet that do. So I bought the double M version as well, okay? You've got a big, fancy, exotic name. So let's kind of misspell that. Throw an E in there instead of an A. You know, play around with it like that. Waste $50 and buy 5 variations of your name. And then build up a single presence of you online that sends people to your works, sends people to your social pages, but basically depicts who you are, what you're doing, and why you're doing it. So that when someone's out there, they're going to find you. The next thing to do, and you can't do this on a phone, you have to do this on a big screen. Open up all of those social pages, your Facebook, your Twitter, your LinkedIn, your Instagram. Open up all of those and look at the bio. Is the bio the exact same on every single one? Okay? No one confused is ever going to invest with you.
True.
But if you are exactly the same person on every single one of those, it makes my ability to understand you and relate to you easier. And that's all I'm looking for. I'm looking for ease to get to know as to whether or not I want to deal with you.
Yeah.
Okay? Yeah. So make sure all of your bios are the same. And then the picture. Make sure the picture's current. You're a businessman. I do not want to see a picture of your cat or your dog, okay? Or you in a hot tub. I want to see you like this blue Ralph Lauren polo shirt looking good in each one of those pictures. If you don't want to use the same picture, because for some reason people don't like using the same picture, use a variation of the exact same picture, okay? I want to know what you look like today. I don't want to see a picture of what you looked like 10 years ago. Again, I'm looking to remove the confusion away from your brand. And at the moment, you have none.
Yep.
But I want to create a scenario so that when someone does go, well, who's this Harout guy? It was a good presentation. They take out that phone and they check you out. And there's the third thing. Everything that you've just done, validate it from the Lord of smartphones. Okay? You need to see how you appear on a 4-inch by 6-inch screen, regardless of the big screen. Everyone today should check how they show up on a baby screen before they care what they look like on the landscape version online.
Yep. Absolutely.
Do you feel as though you don't have that?
I don't think I consistently represent myself. That's the first point. But I do I do have a good good picture, good representation, and I do make the consideration of presenting myself in a nice way on the smartphone as well.
Okay, perfect.
Yeah, at least in my startup company website wise.
Okay, now the startup company, does that have a website?
It does, yes.
Right, so if you purchased your own name, you could actually redirect it to what am I working on, and then it would just hyperlink straight over to the new site.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Okay.
Absolutely.
People invest in people first. So you know full well that once you've done the presentation, they're not going to Google the presentation. They're going to Google the people behind the presentation. So if you've got key members behind the company, what do they look like? How do they appear? And repeat and rinse with those people as well.
Yep.
Right?
No, understood. Absolutely.
The old days of, hey, it's not personal, it's business, they're gone. Personal and business are one. People want to invest in you first and then the cause second. They want a reason, but they want to know that where that money's going can be handled by the right person.
Got it. Yeah, absolutely. And absolutely you're right. And I was trying to figure out a way to present myself in the right way where, okay, the investor, let's say, will tell, okay, this is a dependable person. His information is consistent. Now let's look at the business plan. But yes. I feel as if though I don't have that yet. And now you gave me some structure into how to tackle that part. Now,
also, here's a key thing. Don't try to be someone on social that you're not.
Yeah.
Now, you said something about your basketball career. What was that about?
I played professionally in Lebanon for a short period of time. Then when I immigrated here, that was over.
Okay. In your bio should say former pro basketball player. Okay, don't try and hide away from it. You were an athlete. You were a sportsman. That shows discipline, commitment, focus.
Mm-hmm.
So you should put in there. I had a client a little while ago, and he was an ex-professional football player. He didn't have it in his bio. He was like businessman, mortgage, real estate, blah, blah, speaker, author. I went, hang on a minute. You were an athlete. You know, not everyone's an athlete, but anyone can be an author. So you should put that in there. He literally changed, and he put in there former pro footballer, and it changed. People can now relate to him because, hey, I like football. You were football. Oh, wow. You should put it in there. You should be very keen to lean on who is you.
Yeah.
And allow people to go, oh, right, he was a sportsman. Oh, right, he's a rocket scientist. Oh, right. Yeah. Get those things out there so they can see the kind of person, get an idea of who you are before they chat with you. No one confused is ever going to reach out to you and go, Harout, I don't fully understand this bio. Could you explain it to me? No one's ever going to make that phone call.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right. But you want to make sure that you are impossible to misunderstand.
Yeah. I read that in your book, by the way. That was a term that stuck with me.
Yeah, but that was Brian Kurtz. Brian Kurtz gave it to me, one of the greatest copywriters out there in the planet. So, yeah, I think it was Brian Kurtz or Paris or Joe Polish, one of those guys. I heard it and I loved it, but I always like to give credit to people that are smarter than me, which is pretty much everyone in the planet. All right, so what is your ETA? You know, how fast, when are you going to buy your URLs?
After this call.
All right, so within a week's time, your URLs and your socials. And what socials do you have?
Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, LinkedIn. But I'm not very active on LinkedIn just because I'm still employed. And I don't want to, ruffle some feathers there yet.
Do they monitor your LinkedIn profile?
Absolutely. Oh, yeah, I got in trouble for it about 6 months ago.
All right, okay, so then you got a reason for that, but you got to put up that website, you got to pick up those, and you got to make sure they're clear.
Yeah,
because if the website for your company is already out there, they already know about it, so you're going to have to put your personal website out there.
Yeah. We'll do that after this call.
Did this help?
Absolutely. I mean, those were information that I didn't know about Chalk, so that's, no, definitely. I never thought about getting my own URL to do, for my own website. So all these are good stuff to establish my own brand. So I appreciate it.
Perfect. Today's world, we need clarity. That is the focus of today. Clarity on your message, clarity on your solution, clarity on you. Focus on your clarity and don't confuse your avatars. Don't confuse your prospects.
Got it. Understood.
Good. Well, then thank you very much for being part of the Sims Distillery Speakeasy community. I know you're coming to the Speakeasy in Los Angeles, so I'm looking forward to seeing you there. And likewise. Thank you very much for being part of the family.
No, thank you so much. I'm really excited about it and can't wait to see you too.
See you later, mate.
That's it. Bye.
Hey, this is Steve Sims, and I hope you liked that episode of Being Coached by Steve Sims. Subscribe over here. Watch some other cool videos over here. Or for your chance to be coached by me for the YouTube series, join here at simsdistillery.com.